Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please take a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome this evening to the Royal College of Surgeons and to the conferring ceremony. Before declaring open the conferring ceremonies, I'd like to introduce the platform party. At the top table to my left is Mr. John Donoghue, Pro-President of RCPI, and Mr. Declan McGee, Vice President of RCSI. The other members of the platform party, starting from your right as you look to the platform, Mr. Martin Cunningham, Regulatory and Student Affairs in RCSI, Ms. Fiona Mitchell, also from the Student Affairs Department, Dr. Padraig Sheeran, Dean of the Faculty of Sport and Exercise Medicine, RCSI and RCPI, Ms. Enda Woolhead, Dean of the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery at RCSI, Professor Gerard Kearns, Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry, RCSI, Dr. Barry Kelly, Dean of the Faculty of Radiology, RCSI, Dr. Martin Daly, Treasurer of the Faculty of Sport and Exercise Medicine, RCPI and RCSI, Ms. Mary McMahon, Honorary Secretary of the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery, RCSI, Dr. John Walsh, Dean-elect of the Faculty of Dentistry, RCSI, Professor Dermot Malone, Honorary Secretary of the Faculty of Radiologists at RCSI, and Professor Oscar Traynor, Professor of Postgraduate Surgical Education at RCSI. And my name is Ewan Friel, and I'm the Managing Director of Surgical Affairs at RCSI. I'd now like to invite the Professor of Postgraduate Surgical Education, Professor Oscar Traynor, to introduce the candidates for the fellowship and the membership of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
Good evening. I'll ask the candidates for the fellowship of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, including addendum candidates, to rise and recite the declaration of a fellow in unison. That is on page 5 of your booklet. Those candidates rise. So if you repeat with me, I state your name, do solemnly and sincerely declare that I will observe and be obedient to the statutes, bylaws and ordinances of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, and I will, to the utmost of my power, endeavour to promote the reputation, honour and dignity of said college. I now call on the Vice President to admit you as Fellows of the College.
By virtue of my office of Vice President, I admit you Fellows of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
I now call on the candidates to come forward and receive your scroll from the Vice President. For General Surgery, Aoife Lowry. Azhar Shabir. James Smith. Otolaryngology, Ian Miller. Plastic surgery, Paul Sullivan. Trauma and orthopedic surgery, Joseph Baker. Joseph Butler. Ciara Egan. Mutaz Jadan, James Kennedy, Darren Louis, Gavin McHugh, Gandhi Soler, now Fellowship Ade Undum, Hadi Shwash Al Kavaji, Michael Larvin,
It's a pleasure, Michael. Congratulations.
Jeremiah Thomas Martin, Dhananjaya Sharma, for ophthalmology, Ian Dooley, Wen Yuan Lee, Wei Fong Sia, Deirdre Townley, now the membership of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, including ophthalmology. I invite the candidates for the membership of the Royal College of Surgeons to rise and recite the declaration in unison with me, which is listed on page 5 of your booklet. So if you recite with me, I state your name, do solemnly and sincerely declare that I will observe and be obedient to the statutes, bylaws and ordinances of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, and I will, to the utmost of my power, endeavour to promote the reputation, honour and dignity of the said college. I now call on the Vice President to admit you members of the college.
By virtue of my office of Vice President, I admit you as members of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
Now, I will call each of you in turn to come forward and receive your scroll from the Vice President. Khalid Ahmed, Kotalin Alias, Ambreen Ashraf, Michael Boland, Zini Cherry Chiang,
Congratulations.
Joan Costello,
Joan, congratulations.
David Dalton,
David, congratulations.
Orla Drum,
Paula, well done. Congratulations.
Louise Fitzgerald,
Louise, well done. Congratulations. That's great. Louise, well done.
Christina Fleming,
Christina.
Nicola Hughes,
Congratulations. That's great. Nicola, well done.
Kenneth Joyce,
Congratulations.
Emma Keane,
So, Emma, congratulations. Well done.
Billy Lane O'Neill,
Billy, congratulations. That's great. Well done. Congratulations.
Aisling Looney,
Hello, Ashley, congratulations. That's great, Ashley. Well done.
Lorraine McGrath,
Lorraine, congratulations.
Stephen Murphy,
Stephen, congratulations. Great, Stephen. Well done.
Shazia Noreen,
Stephen, congratulations. Great, Shazia, well done.
Vincent O'Dowd,
Vincent, congratulations. Well done. Well done, Vincent.
Eva O'Grady,
Congratulations. Well done. Great, well done.
Olufemi Oloyedi,
Congratulations. Well done.
Johnny O'Mahony,
Congratulations.
Shane O'Neill,
Shane, congratulations. That's great, Shane. Well done.
Michael O'Reilly,
Congratulations. Well done, Michael.
Michael O'Sullivan,
Michael, well done. Congratulations. That's great, Michael. Well done.
Teresa O'Sullivan,
Congratulations. Well done.
Mohammed Usman Qureshi, in absentia. Hasnan Raza.
Congratulations. Well done. Great, Hassan. Well done.
Aaron Sterling.
Congratulations. It's great, Aaron. Well done.
Emma Tong.
Emma, congratulations to you. Great, Emma. Well done.
Jack Woods.
Great stuff, Jack. Well done.
The membership in ENT, Eva Kopeka.
Eva, well done. Congratulations. That's great, Eva. Well done.
And the membership in ophthalmology, Lana El-Mahi Mohammed.
Congratulations.
Nihad El-Seed.
Congratulations.
Yasir Imam.
Yes, sir. Congratulations. Well done. Well done, yes, sir. Well done.
Helen Intom-Chukwu.
Congratulations to you.
Tahira Saad, in absentia.
No, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I hear. Nice surprise. Congratulations. Thanks.
Maxwell Tracy.
Congratulations.
I would now like to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Radiologists, Dr. Barry Kelly, and the Honorary Secretary, Professor Dermot Malone, to introduce the candidates for the Fellowship of the Faculty of Radiologists.
Will the candidates for the Fellowship of the Faculty of Radiologists please rise and recite the declaration listed on page 5 of your booklet in unison as follows. I state your name. Do solemnly and sincerely declare and promise bylaws and ordinances of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, and that I will, to the utmost of my power, endeavour to promote the reputation, honour and dignity of the said college. I now invite the Dean to admit the new Fellows.
By virtue of my office of Dean, in the presence of the Vice President, I admit you Fellows of the Faculty of Radiologists of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
Now I will call each of you in turn to come forward to receive your scroll from the Dean. Fellowship in Radiology, Martin Aragon. Ferdia Bolster. Alison Kaur. Ian Crosby, Jane Cunningham, Carol Dunna, Breege Gilmartin, Mark Harmon, Julia Howard, Alison Hurley, Lisa Lavelle, Mahmoud Mirza, Ian Murphy, Elaine Nimurku, in absentia Jennifer Salmon, Maria Toomey, Fellowship in Radiation Oncology, Bolanle Ofi. Fellowship ad Eundum, Gavin Briggs. Mazen El Basuni. Nina Marshall. Saleh Ogbobi. Frederick Verniman.
I would now invite the Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry, Professor Gerard Kearns, and the Dean-elect, Dr. John Walsh, to introduce the candidates for the Intercollegiate Specialty Fellowship Examination.
Will the candidates for Intercollegiate Specialty Fellowship Examination please rise and recite the declaration on page 5 in unison? I do solemnly and sincerely declare and promise and I will to the utmost of my power endeavour to promote the reputation, honour and dignity of the said college.
By virtue of my office of Dean in the presence of the Vice President,
I admit you Fellows of the Faculty of Dentistry of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
ISFE Dental Public Health, Ewan O'Neill.
Congratulations.
ISFE in Orthodontics, Annabelle Teague.
Congratulations.
I will now introduce the candidates for Fellowship of the Faculty of Dentistry. Will the candidates please rise and recite the declaration in unison as follows? I do solemnly and sincerely declare and promise that I will observe and be obedient to the statutes, bylaws and ordinances of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. And I will, to the utmost of my power, endeavour to promote the reputation, honour and dignity of the said college. I now invite the Dean to admit the new Fellows.
By virtue of my office of Dean, in the presence of the Vice President, I admit you Fellows of the Faculty of Dentistry of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
Now I will call each of you in turn to come forward and receive your scroll from the Dean. Fellowship in Oral Surgery with Oral Medicine, Ahmer Ali. Ayagozi Idabo. Asif Qureshi. Fellowship in Periodontics, Logian Al-Ghazal. Omar Al-Karadsa. Fellowship Adeondum, Anthony F. Marcus. I will now introduce the candidates for membership of the Faculty of Dentistry. Will the candidates please rise and recite the declaration in unison as follows? I do solemnly and sincerely declare and promise that I will observe and be obedient to the statutes, bylaws and ordinances of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. And that I will, to the utmost of my power, endeavour to promote the reputation, honour and dignity of the said college. I now invite the Dean to admit the new members.
By virtue of my office of Dean, in the presence of the Vice President, I admit you members of the Faculty of Dentistry of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
Now I will call each of you in turn to come forward to receive your scroll from the Dean. Rayyan Al-Riyami.
Congratulations.
Jinan Al-Rube, Martha Brosco, Naveen El Amin, Farkanda Nazir, I will now introduce the candidates for Diploma of Primary Care Dentistry of the Faculty of Dentistry. I will call each of you in turn to come forward to receive your scroll from the Dean. Claire Addison, in absentia. Catherine Ahern, in absentia. Derval Cafferty. Liam Jones. Michael Lasani. Roselle Owens. Anastasios Plesas.
I now invite the Dean of the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery, Ms. Edna Woolhead, and the Honorary Secretary, Ms. Mary McMahon, to introduce the candidates for the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery.
Will the candidates please rise and recite the declaration in unison as follows? I state your name. Do solemnly and sincerely declare and promise that I will observe and be obedient to the statutes, bylaws and ordinances of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, and I will to the utmost of my power endeavour to promote the reputation, honour and dignity of the said college. I now invite the Dean to admit the new Fellows.
By virtue of my offices of Dean in the presence of the Vice President, I admit you Fellows of the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
Now I will call on each of you in turn to come forward and receive your scroll from the Dean. John Adams. Susan Morn. Catherine O'Neill.
I now call on Dr. Padraig Sheeran, Dean of the Faculty of Sports and Exercise Medicine, and the Treasurer, Dr. Martin Daly, to introduce the candidates for the membership of the Faculty of Sports and Exercise Medicine.
I would like to ask the candidate to stand and recite the declaration as follows. I state your name. Do solemnly and sincerely declare and promise that I will observe and be obedient to the statutes, bylaws and ordinances of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland and the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland, and that I will, to the utmost of my power, endeavour to promote the reputation, honour and dignity of the said colleges. I now invite the Dean to admit the new member.
By virtue of my office as Dean, in the presence of the Vice President RCSI and the Pro-President RCPI, I admit you a member of the Faculty of Sports and Exercise Medicine of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland and the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
I call the candidate is Dr. Kieran Crosgrove.
It's my great pleasure to invite Mr. Declan McGee, Vice President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, to address you.
Thank you. Thank you. Pro-President of the Royal College of Physicians in Ireland, members of Council, Deans, Vice-Deans, Honorary Secretaries and Treasurers of the faculties, Boards of faculties, academic staff, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure as Vice President to welcome you all to the Royal College of Surgeons this afternoon on this very happy occasion. We have just conferred 23 surgeons with intercollegiate fellowships and 38 with memberships. 22 radiologists have been conferred with fellowships of their faculty. 20 dentists have received fellowships, memberships and diplomas of the Faculty of Dentistry. And there have been 3 fellowships of the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery and 1 membership of the Faculty of Sports and Exercise Medicine. Including those conferred in absentia, the total number today is 172. So congratulations to you all on your achievements and on reaching this important and exciting stage in your careers and training, and we wish you continued success for the future. We also extend a special welcome to your family and friends, some making their first visit to our college. They have supported and encouraged you on your journey and in your endeavours, and now come to share in celebrating your success and achievement. I'm sure the other guests will excuse me if I make special mention of one guest this evening who, by being here, represents 3 generations of surgeons. So Mr. Dennis O'Sullivan, renowned urologist from Cork, is here as the father of our council member, Mr. Michael O'Sullivan, and grandfather of one of our newest members, Dr. Michael O'Sullivan. So a warm welcome. While those of you conferred today could be regarded as a somewhat disparate group with rather different areas of expertise and practice, what you share is that you are all clinicians with the patient always at the centre of your focus. Even in these troubled times when the future seems uncertain and sometimes unattractive, and when it would be easy to be despondent about your career prospects, I believe that the answer is to continue to strive for clinical excellence and the rewards and professional fulfilment will follow. Irish clinicians, doctors, nurses and dentists have toiled in difficult, depressing circumstances before, but it doesn't last forever. We in RCSI, and indeed our sister colleges and training bodies, will do everything possible to ensure that the nature and quality of consultant posts to which you aspire and the healthcare environment in which you will all labour will remain appropriate to your expertise and to the effort and hard work you have invested. And in the meantime, all of us must maintain our standards, our professionalism, so as to preserve the integrity of our professions. And we must maintain our commitment to the primacy of clinical practice and bedside medicine, a long-standing hallmark of Irish medicine and still valued in our undergraduate schools and in our postgraduate training programmes. The small, individual, often private medical schools of the late 18th and 19th centuries, which were the seeds and origins of our current large schools, had an unrivaled international reputation for their practice of bedside teaching. But such commitment to their patients came at a price. On the eve of the opening of the Carmichael School of Medicine, a precursor of the RCSI Medical School, Richard Carmichael, who was president of this college on 3 separate occasions and a champion of medical education, was struck down with epidemic fever, most likely typhus. So prevalent was epidemic fever that in the 25 years between 1817 and 1842, 24% of Irish doctors died from it, more than twice the mortality rate of military officers in combat. In recent times, the need for doctors to be excellent clinicians may have been questioned and devalued, particularly with the advent of greater and greater sophistication in our diagnostic aids, and in particular diagnostic imaging as practiced by our radiology colleagues. A new evangelist for bedside medicine and clinical skills is the American doctor Abraham Verghese. He is actually of Indian parents, born in Ethiopia, and best known to many of you as the author of his wonderful novel, Cutting for Stone. In his role as professor of medicine at Stanford Medical School, he has decried the demise of clinical ability. In his campaign for more clinical teaching, he has written that the question is not whether physical examination alone is better than the chest film in diagnosing pneumonia, but whether physicians who combine both approaches deliver better outcomes to their patients than had they used one approach alone. And again, he writes, technology drives diagnosis, but it often merely substitutes our fear of uncertainty with delusions of certainty. This latter quote reminds me of a surgical colleague speaking here in the college at a combined surgery radiology session a few years ago. He described how, when confronted with a difficult clinical case, he would go down to his radiology colleague for a case conference and be bamboozled by an array of complex and impressive images, describing and explaining all the nuances of his case. As he exited the radiologist's office, his newfound confidence that he now fully understood the problem and knew what needed to be done was shattered when his radiology colleague would invariably call after him, "Be sure to let me know what it actually turns out to be." I will finish with a quote from one of my surgical heroes, Dennis Burkitt, a fellow Fermanagh man and surely the epitome of a real clinician. He spent most of his working life in Africa, working with very limited resources, and is most renowned for the discovery of the epidemiology, cause and treatment of a common, heretofore fatal childhood cancer, now known as Burkitt's lymphoma, and also for identifying the role of diet in many common diseases. Among many international awards, he received an honorary fellowship of this college in 1973. And when asked to inscribe his books, he often wrote the following, which I believe to be wise counsel for all clinicians in all disciplines. Attitudes are more important than abilities. Motives are more important than methods. Character is more important than cleverness, and the heart takes precedence over the head. Thank you, and congratulations once again to all of you.
Thank you, Mr. McGee, for those inspiring and timely remarks. The formal proceedings are now concluded. I would invite you all to join our new fellows, members and graduates for a reception at the back of this conferring hall. Please stand for the outward procession.